One of the things that I love about Devon, as well as its stunning countryside, is its churches. Everywhere you go, the landscape's peppered with towers and spires that point to heaven and speak to me of God. And one of the most lovely is here in Branscombe, St Winifred's Church. And on days off, I love coming here. I wander down to the beach and I throw the occasional pebble into the sea, and then I come here to church just to be quiet and to pray. The Church of England stands or falls on the life of our churches, our chaplaincies and our church schools, and whether or not we're living out the gospel with integrity and joy. Over the next year, Bishop Nick, Bishop Sarah and I are going to be out and about visiting parishes, schools and mission communities. We want to meet people, to share ideas, to hear their concerns, talk through problems and together learn what it means to be the church in mission today. The gospel is good news, but we've got to find new ways of telling the story, of explaining our Christian faith, and above all, of giving a reason for the hope that's in us.
When I was a vicar, I found that the key to growth lay in being rooted in God and releasing lay people to use their gifts. I mean, I quickly found that there were people in the congregation who were much better at things than I was, but they did need encouragement. And that's how you build teams. Now, obviously, teams need leaders, and we lead by virtue of the people that we are. And that was my job as a vicar, and it's still my job as a bishop, to animate rather than to dominate, to encourage people, to encourage them to take risks for God, and to release the mission energies of the church.
4 of us in the congregation decided that what could we do for the strangers in our midst. This is about 10 years ago, and we noticed so many asylum seekers at that time in Plymouth. On Tuesdays, they are welcomed in, they have a hot meal, and we're proud to say they're offered 4 levels of English classes, which gives them some preparation before they go on to City College. We call it About Time, because it's the time that the volunteers give. It's also about the time that the refugees need to have something regular happening, and it's also about time that here in Plymouth, the asylum seekers and what they need is truly recognised.
Every parish is different, and I worked out that growth in our parish was coming from developing the relationship between the church and the church school. It was a great school, but it didn't have a strong Christian ethos. A Christian ethos is more than a philosophy of niceness or endlessly singing "One more step around the world I go." It is, yeah. Do you want to feel it? There you go. And that bit's gold, yeah. And that's the ring, the bishop's ring. That's the name of it, yeah.
Does it give you special superpowers?
I know, I don't get any superpowers, I'm afraid. I'd like to think I do.
No, it gives you the superpower of being a bishop.
Clergy need to be out and about, but they don't have a monopoly of pastoral gifts. They can't care for everybody, try as they might. We need to develop a culture of care, a pastoral network where people learn to care one for another. And that's true whether we're living in the inner city or in the countryside. One thing I'm convinced of, and that is wherever we are, we need, in this great county of Devon, we need to serve people and to do so with joy.
The Big Book Share is part of a diocesan-wide project that Mothers Union runs. We collect pairs of new books to take to the prison here. So one book goes into the reception area, and the child, when it visits, borrows one, as in a library. The father has a duplicate copy, so they read the same book and they can compare notes on pictures or characters or how the story goes or whatever. It's to help create a stronger link between parents and children. And hopefully when the father is released from prison, this bond will be strengthened again. And it only works through prayer. Nothing else will work it.
The Church of Jesus Christ is a community of all ages. One of the great things about our diocese is the ministry by and among older people. But what we're struggling with is a younger generation, so that the church is truly representative. Research has shown that over 90% of the people in our churches right across England have come to faith by the time they're 21. They've had a significant religious experience and it's brought them to faith. And that's why we need to engage with children and young people now, like these fantastic children here at Branscombe School. We need to do it now and not miss an entire generation.
The Bible and Biscuit Club is a way of engaging and holding on to our young people. We have a meeting every other week and we start with prayer, and we're hoping that we will be discipling our children as we go along, but we're also very keen on serving our communities and serving them with joy. We have a lot of fun. Today, for example, a small group of them have been making cakes, which we're going to take round to our neighbours as a random act of kindness. It's a way of bringing the children into the church, having some fun and enabling them to see that actually it's worthwhile being part of the church family.
We're a learning church, a pilgrim church. And that means that we're going to make mistakes. But it's okay to experiment because that's how we learn in life. We're in it together. And it's what Bishops in Mission is all about, discovering that God is in our midst, inviting us to become fully alive as men and women. With Jesus Christ as our companion and guide, we can travel through life differently. Why don't you come and share in the adventure?